You're listening to Real Crime, the Movie Sleuth podcast.
There we
Good
go.
evening.
Oh.
Good evening.
Good evening, girls and ghouls. Boys and ghouls.
Dark and stormy night.
It was a dark and stormy night. And me and Liam got to see the new Terminator last night.
Yeah,
It was actually way better than we thought it was going to be.
that's true.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of intrigued to see where they go with this now. So,
Yeah, I didn't want to die after watching it. So,
yeah.
you know,
That's a good sign.
yeah.
Yeah, usually that's a good sign. Usually. So this
They
is
could put that on the poster.
yeah.
I didn't want to die after
You
watching
didn't.
it.
Critics say I didn't want to die after I watched this movie. So, this is episode 129 of Real Crime. We're going to be digging into some devilish movies tonight in celebration of Devil's Night,
Yes.
which a lot of people don't really know what Devil's Night is, because really this is a Michigan thing.
Detroit too, especially.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of kicked off in Detroit. So we're gonna get off. We're
gonna get off?
We're gonna get off in a few
Speak
minutes.
What kind of
yourself.
podcast is this?
This is sexy. So we're gonna talk about some devil movies in a little bit. But first, our sponsors. We've got to mention the Flint Institute of Arts, Matador Martial Arts. Cha-cha, ta-ta-ta. You like that, Rudy? I hope you did. And then, of course, projectorscreen.com,
Yeah.
who's going to be changing their name very soon. So we'll have to change things up on the website and the podcast pretty
Yeah.
soon. So,
Hopefully it's not like projectorscreen.doink.
or
Something like that.
projectorscreen.sex,
Yeah.
because that's just
Dot
weird.
RedTube.
Projectorscreen. I
Scat.
don't know. Yeah, whatever. All right, so rolling on. In news this week, not too much going on, but it was just confirmed that Jeffrey Wright is officially on board as Commissioner Gordon in the Batman. So they hadn't really revealed too much on that as of yet, and tonight it was actually posted to Twitter.
Awesome.
So kind of cool. I can see him doing that.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, for sure. He's a great actor. And then, let's see, Green Lantern. We got news last night that
That's
there's
true.
going to be a Green Lantern show on HBO Max.
Yep. There was
What is
a
it?
whole...
What is HBO Max?
HBO Max is Warner Brothers' add-on streaming service. It's their Disney Plus or Netflix.
Okay.
This is their... It has not only all the HBO shows, but like all the DC movies, all the Studio Ghibli movies, South Park, Rick and Morty. It has a ton of stuff on this thing. And it's
So-
out in May 2020.
Very cool. And then other news, a lot of people were happy about this. David Benioff and D.B. Weiss quit their Star Wars trilogy. These were the guys that did Game of Thrones, so a lot of people are ecstatic that they quit. I'm just kind of like, I would like to see what somebody else was going to do with it.
Yeah.
So, but apparently a lot of people in internet land
Wow.
are celebrating on the
yeah.
moon of Endor with Ewoks right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Playing drums on Stormtrooper helmets. Fucking Ewoks, dude. All right. And then last little bit of news this week. The CW is doing a Superman and Lois Lane TV show. Yeah. It's a CW. I could care
Yeah.
less.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just all crap to me.
Yeah.
Do any of you guys watch those?
I watched the first 2 episodes of Batwoman.
Okay.
I was really rooting for it. I wanted to say, I didn't even get, I don't know if she even looks like how she does yet, like on the cover or like on the movie or
Yeah,
whatever
on
you
the-
call it, on the
stuff.
poster
Like, right.
with the red hair and everything. The entire suit looks different because she's just wearing like Batman's old suit. But I didn't make it that far. It's a little just disappointing.
I like her. Like,
I do too.
yeah, like she was kind of cool, like in the Fast and the Furious thing. Or no,
Yeah.
was it the Fast and Furious that she did? No.
She was in John Wick.
John Wick, and then she was in the last Triple X movie too.
That's right.
With Vin Diesel.
I saw her in Orange Is the New Black.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where she got started
Yeah.
acting. I think she's a good actress. I think she's really pretty. I think she kind of has that flair for doing like the rebel kind of
she's.
Yeah.
I mean,
role.
with what they gave her, I think that's not really the problem with the show. It's just the storyline is a little drab. There's not. It doesn't move along fast enough for what it is.
Right.
There's a lot of like downtime and just like fluff to make it, the hour-long show. And I wanted to watch the next one. I was away the weekend the third one was on, and then now I'm 2 behind. So I was gonna still kind of give it a shot, but yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
It was missing something.
Yeah.
It's missing something.
I haven't seen it yet.
I've tried a couple of those, and I was just kind of like, I can't get into the production values of these shows. They just look so cheap to me.
They do, and that's
Yeah.
part of it. I tried to get into Supergirl too, and I couldn't get very far into that show.
See,
either.
like, I like her. I think she looks great as Supergirl.
Same,
and I
yeah.
think she like falls into the role, but past that, like the show is just kind of like,
That's how I am too. The same thing.
cool.
Yeah.
So in new releases this week, Terminator Dark Fate is out.
Yeah.
They were doing some early screenings tonight, actually. Some theaters were having it tonight, but tomorrow night is the official opening night. So I say see it.
Yeah, if you're a fan of Terminator and your will isn't completely broken, you'll like Terminator Dark Fate.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I was pretty excited when I saw the trailer, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go check it out.
They do a couple things that are going to offend fans of the series, but I think you kind of, at this point, you had to sit through 3 kind of shitty sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this does nothing nearly as bad as those. When I came home last night, I was like, okay, I watched Terminator 1, watched Terminator 2. We just saw Dark Fate. I'm like, I gotta like watch the other ones now. Dude. I watched like
Don't do that to yourself.
I put on Rise of the Machines, and like it's really bad. I never
Yeah.
realized how bad that
It's
movie
so
was.
fucking
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
when the girl sees the like sign and she makes her tits bigger. Fucking awful movie.
Oh my god, I didn't even see that one. I saw I can't remember what the name is of it. The first one with Christian Bale.
Oh, Salvation.
Salvation.
Okay, yeah, I saw that at the theater. It was oh god, disappointment.
I remember his
I never
meltdown more
bothered.
than the movie.
Oh
Yeah.
The tape.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember that too.
And he did that like in between The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. That was like
Yeah.
his in between movie, 2009.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it was.
I remember I saw it in the theater.
Yeah, I saw.
I was excited.
I was
It had
too.
a really well cut trailer.
We went to the midnight showing of that one. That's how pumped I was to see that.
And then with
Disappointing.
Terminator Genesis, I just went. There's
Yeah.
nothing to that one.
I gave up after that one, so I didn't even see those two.
Yeah, it's
Did you guys like 3?
That was the one that I watched when we came back last night.
Yeah.
Was Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. And I think Nick Stahl
Oh,
kind
Rise
of
of Machines, right?
Yeah.
I forget the
subtitles.
Yeah.
I think that Nick Stahl does a good job of carrying the torch of being like not Edward Furlong.
Don't
Yeah.
you wish he was so bad?
Yeah, honestly, I
really
was like, I
wish-
wish it was Edward
Yeah.
Furlong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like part of my issues with that movie.
Yeah.
And
totally.
the funny thing was that they are like, I understand Terminator 2, John Connor is a child, and in Terminator 3, he's like in his mid 20s. So obviously they're going to be a little bit different, but like their actual character, the backbone of the character is so different between Terminator 2 and Terminator 3
Yeah.
that it's like, yeah, you're going to look a little different. You're going to sound a little different, but at the core, you're still going to be kind of snarky like you were when you
Right.
were a kid, and he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like no carryover between 2 and 3 whatsoever.
Yeah.
And the other thing is 3 really looks like a Jonathan Mostow movie. It does not have any.
Well, like, there's no identity in any of the Terminator sequels. They when you watch the first two movies, they're Jim Cameron movies
Right.
through and through. You can tell.
Right.
There's like authorship, there's like purpose. The later Terminators are just kind of like
Yeah.
literally could have been directed by anybody.
Yes.
Like I would ask anybody who directed Terminator Genesis. Like just go on the street and ask them. Can you name who it is?
Yeah, it was Tony something. I can't remember.
It was the guy who made Thor 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'll help jog your
Okay, yeah,
memory.
that'll help you, yeah.
The worst one.
So, yeah, I say see the new Terminator. Go in with, with your expectations a little bit lowered, and I think you'll walk out pretty happy with it.
Linda Hamilton's great. You'll have a good time.
Yeah, Linda Hamilton's great.
It's not reinventing the wheel, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
hey.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
All right, and then Motherless Brooklyn is out this week with Ed Norton.
That's the one where he has Tourette's, right?
Yeah.
I really like the trailer to that because
Yeah.
it's always really funny when he has the bursts
Yeah.
out. It's not supposed to be funny, but it kind of is because it's like so over the top.
Of course.
This was the one I kind of accidentally missed on Monday night.
Yeah.
I should have been there, and things just got kind of screwed up. And it sounds like we didn't miss much.
Yeah.
So,
Darn.
Darn.
didn't have to drive all the way to...
I was going to ask you how Countdown was.
Oh, Countdown was pretty good.
Really?
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
because I remember last week we were like, hey, did you give it the bloody bullet?
No, but I did give it a 3.
Nice.
So I gave
Not
it...
bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
It's basically a Final Destination knockoff movie.
Okay.
It's kind of like if you took Happy Death Day and Final Destination and kind of mixed them into some kind of, conceptual horror film.
That'd be fun.
It's fun.
I like both those movies.
Yeah. It is what it should be. It's completely stupid.
I'm not expecting like high art.
I think the female protagonist, she was great. She was really good. She kind of helped totally carried the movie. So, yeah, I think for a silly Halloween release, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, and then also Jojo Rabbit's out this week.
Ooh, I can't wait to see it. I'm going on Friday. I'm a big Taika fan. Taika Waititi. He's a madman.
So that'll be out on Thursday night as well. So, suggested viewings.
Suggested viewings.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just suggest because I watched a lot of movies this weekend, so I'm gonna suggest MacGruber just because I love that movie. I think it's a pitch perfect parody of 80s action movies, and I think Will Forte gives probably the most committed comedy performance I've ever seen. Like MacGruber is such an incompetent character, and he fucks everything up, and it's just gold. And it just makes me laugh, and it has probably the funniest sex scene put on film.
Yeah.
I think so. So that's it. That's my suggestion.
What do you got, Mara?
I spent the past weekend watching some Hellraiser movies.
Yeah.
So I think I've seen one a bunch of times. I never saw 2 or 3. And so out of the 3, I'm going to recommend 3. I really, really liked it. I thought the end was a little slow, but everything else just really makes up for it. It's a cool one. And I guess 2 and 3 are both really good for Halloween because they're very haunted house movies. It's almost like you're walking through a haunted house and they're like, check out this weird stuff here. And it's there's a few jump scares and it's just creepy little set up piece after next. And
right.
It's fun.
Yeah, I think 3 was kind of the breaking off point though.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. And it's very it's really 90s, and that's what I liked about it. It was it had to do with a cool underground gothic club, and it was cool.
I liked what they did with the Cenobites in there, where they just kind of changed it up. They're kind of well, we're not just going to stick with what we've been doing.
Yeah, everyone had their own little Cenobite. When everyone at the club got killed, it was the DJ was switching a bunch of CDs. He got killed, and I think he got killed, but by CDs. And then he was this CD killer, and he was just flipping out CDs at people and slicing them up. And
yeah.
I liked that.
So my suggested viewing this week is not going to be a movie. After I watched Terminator 3, after we came home from Terminator 3,
Yeah.
I'm like just flipping through Netflix, and Gaten Matarazzo from Stranger Things has a new show on Netflix called Prank Encounters.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I think I've seen a little bit of it.
It's hilarious. It's like basically, like any of the old prank shows, but it's almost all like horror based. It's really, really good. Like they did one episode, they're only like 20 or 25 minutes, are really short, but they had one where there was an evil bear in the house, and this creepy little girl's like, the teddy bear killed my sister, made him mad, and the teddy bear killed her. And these people are like, what? Like, just doesn't make any sense, So anyways, all these people are at the house, and they're like in the room with her, and they're getting ready to pack stuff up to give away to like Salvation Army.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, like, should we pack the bear? And she's like, oh, he's not going to like that. But anyways, the bear ends up pushing somebody off the balcony, and they're just like, oh shit. They're like, that bear's walking. And these people like really believe that there's like some entity, and there's another little teddy bear sitting in the corner, and he's like moving. It's like really creepy, but like really cool pranks. So I say check it out.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm done. What are we talking about?
Good night, everyone. No.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Devil's
Yeah.
Night.
It's Devil's Night.
So how do we want to kick this off? We're just
Well,
going to list some of our favorites.
yeah, sure.
Cool. Okay. Who wants to start?
I want to start because, I want to talk about a movie that like the devil isn't in per se, but it's all about Devil's Night, and especially a Devil's Night like tonight, which is very rainy, and it has not stopped raining all day. And even though the night seems long, the rain won't fall forever.
Oh.
The Crow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can't rain all the time.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's a perfect movie to also talk about because it takes place in Detroit, rainy Devil's Night. Yeah. I mean, what can you say about The Crow? It's awesome.
There's so much to say about The Crow. I think that, obviously it's one of those movies that kind of kicked off the whole comic book thing in a way, because it was very successful for what it was.
Yeah.
And it kind of pushed that whole gothic theme. Like, people really got into that, And I think that was, obviously bands of the 80s and early 90s helped with a lot of that too, like The Cure and Nine Inch Nails and stuff like that. But I think with The Crow, we've talked about this like on the soundtrack episode.
Yeah, we did.
And we've touched on it other times too, but I think this movie kind of made like the whole like goth thing like much more like a pop culture type thing, and more people got into it.
You're probably right, because I can't really think of any other like movies prior to that one. I think it came out in '94 that like really is like has that like gothic aesthetic like that, and that used that type of music too in the soundtrack. There probably is other ones, but like mainstream.
Yeah, like that would be kind of like you can go and look at like maybe there's like smaller movies like The Hunger or something.
Right, yeah.
But like Crow just kind of like burst it wide open.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And for Halloween in years following that, I mean, everybody was like, I'm the Crow.
Yeah.
That was huge that year.
The black leather duster look.
Yeah.
Was
huge.
Yes. That was the look for men, for young men.
Young men.
Of the 90s, yes. And I mean, I think the movie like stylistically is very beautiful, and the story itself I really enjoy. And it's kind of like compared to if you like read the comic, the stories are like a little bit of a mess because of like the weird editing and fixing they had to do because of Brandon Lee's death.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I don't think that like takes away from the movie because I the like heart of it is there. You like get it. It's all there.
Well, and his death is what really made the movie
I know.
Yeah.
huge,
It's like it's
kinda-
so eerie.
which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
So sad.
Because I wonder if he hadn't died filming that, would it have been as big of a thing? Would it have been this cultural phenomenon that it became?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, it might have because the soundtrack's still really
Oh, God.
good,
Yeah,
and I
soundtrack.
think regardless of whether or not anyone died on the set, it'd just be undeniable.
Yeah, it's still a great movie, regardless of like
Yeah.
if someone died.
I typically think that if Brandon Lee had lived, that he probably would have done a lot more, gotten a lot more acting jobs and become a lot more famous.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had done a few other action films up to that, but he wasn't in a lot
No.
at all. And this was kind of like his like breakout.
Yeah, and very different characters he played prior to this. He just kind of did like the stupid action movie guy, and
Yeah,
very
kind of
basic.
athletic. Yeah.
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 So I mean, for him, I think on this, I know he thought he was gonna branch out and kind of step away from kind of doing more action stuff and kind of show a little bit of dramatic acting chops.
But yeah, that movie is just like now it's just a total classic.
Yeah, it is.
You can't go wrong with this one.
I'd be interested to see what teens nowadays think. If they think it's like dated and cheesy.
Probably.
Or if they're like, no, this is cool. I mean, I guess it depends on what kid you show, but
Yeah.
I think like if I showed it to my son, he'd probably be into it because he likes like all like the 90s stuff. Like, he's
Yeah.
into like Pulp Fiction and, all the kind of stuff that we grew up with. He's
Yeah.
really into. So I would think he would probably like it. And he's so into comic book movies in general that I think, he'd probably enjoy it.
yeah.
But yeah, the soundtrack alone.
I dug it when I saw it and I was 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember going to see it
Same.
opening night and it was just like totally packed.
Oh, man.
Like crazy packed.
I bet, yeah.
We saw it out by 59 in Shaner. There used to be a theater in that strip mall there. I can't remember what it was called.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not there anymore. Unfortunately, because they keep closing so many of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great like Devil's Night movie. Are there any other movies that center on Devil's Night?
I doubt it because it's such a like local phenomenon.
Yeah.
And, that's what it is. That's what that movie's about. These,
Right.
arsons happening
Yeah.
on Devil's Night.
Yeah.
And that's what happened here, essentially.
Yeah. Is their presentation of Detroit in that movie is so
No, it looks nothing like Detroit.
Detroit.
They
No.
kind of just like mention it a couple times and then like forget about it. I feel
Yeah,
like the fact
yeah.
that it's Devil's Night makes it Detroit. That's about it.
Yeah. But Ernie Hudson was great in this movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's
Yeah.
really great.
I can't really I have no complaints about this movie other than its sequels.
And Ernie Hudson's a Detroit guy too.
Yeah.
He graduated from
Yeah.
Wayne State University.
Yeah. I guess, I shouldn't really say that because, like, The Crow 2 was kind of, like, okay,
Yeah.
but it was like a retread.
It was way retread.
Yeah. It basically just told the same story over again.
Yeah.
And I think they were hoping that they would be able to carry on with him to be the Crow, like,
Yeah.
for subsequent films. And that one flopped
They
pretty bad.
tried to link it by making it like that girl Sarah is like an
Oh, yeah.
adult and moved to LA and
That's
now
right.
she's like, "Oh, I know what's happening to you because this happened before."
Yeah.
And yeah.
Played by
Mia
Kirshner.
Yeah. And Iggy Pop was in that one too. They tried and it had a real like unique look, I thought. The way it looked.
I've always been in love with her.
And she's gorgeous. I don't know I can't think of anything else she was in, but
She
was gorgeous
is
in that.
beautiful and she can act her ass off.
Mm-hmm.
She played Mandy on 24. She was like a female assassin on 24.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in like the first like 4 or 5 seasons and she was kick ass.
Mm-hmm.
She was like the like top female assassin in the world. You know, she's a terrorist and shit. And she was like awesome in that show. So yeah, I love her. I love her more than my wife. Oh,
Well, if she's listening, maybe she'll.
sorry, honey. All right, Liam, give us something.
I recently rewatched House of the Devil. I think it's Ty West directed.
Yes.
That one, and it's been a while since I've seen it, but I love that movie. I love how like slowly it kind of builds to the devil stuff. Like it starts off, it's like kind of like a low key indie drama. You're like, where's the horror stuff? It's just these like people talking, and then it like escalates and escalates to just like full on what the fuck by the end of it. And it's a very like minimalist kind of movie, but there's a lot of stuff like under the surface going on.
Right. And it has that like complete like 70s aesthetic to it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen this one. Have you ever seen this?
No, is it a new one?
It's
Newer.
newer.
Yeah.
Let's see. House of the Devil.
Because I saw it when Joe Bob Briggs showed it on his show on Shudder.
2009.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little bit older.
Yeah.
But not too old. But yeah, it's Ty West.
Yeah.
Had a budget of $900,000. Yeah. That's a good one, though. I enjoy that one a lot.
Yeah, I like that one. I just like, for me, I'm like when it comes to like those kind of throwback horror losing my voice. When it throwback horror movies, I get like those throwback horrors. But when it comes to those like throwback horror movies, the better ones are the ones where they're authentic with like the period details.
Yeah.
Because like so many of them are just like, here's a thing here's like a poster from the 80s. Here's a synthesizer score. This actually looks like a movie that could have come out in like
for sure.
1978.
For sure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So expanding on movies about that actually have the devil in them, I think one of the greatest ones of all time is probably Angel Heart, where Robert De Niro plays the devil, and it's got like Mickey Rourke and Lisa Bonet in it. And it was like when it came out in the 80s, like there's some pretty hardcore sex in this movie with Mickey Rourke and Lisa Bonet. And basically they slapped an X rating on it. And this movie was why Lisa Bonet got fired from the Cosby Show.
Oh, yeah.
Which is really kind of fucked up when you think about it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, it worked out for her.
Yeah. But look at all the shit, Cosby was doing behind the scenes, and he was passing moral judgment on her.
Well, yeah.
But that's
he
how
did
the
that. He
system
did
worked.
that to Eddie too.
What's
He did
that?
that to Eddie Murphy.
Did he?
He's doing that shit on. There's a bit in Raw where he talks about how like I think Cosby's son went to go see the show, and Bill Cosby called him up, and he's like, "You're doing filth, flooring filth, all this shit."
Wow. Well.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you're drugging women and raping them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Angel Heart, if you're looking for like down and dirty like movie about a man making a deal with the devil, Angel Heart is it. And I mean, it's like grimy and gross, and it's horror, but it's a thriller. And the acting, I mean, you've got De Niro like literally playing, I think his name in it is Louis Cypher, I'm pretty sure. Like, okay.
I like when they have those really bad puns.
Yeah. But, he plays this devil with a suit on and the black nails and the whole deal. And, he's got the nice beard going and the hair and everything. But, yeah, De Niro as the devil, I don't really think you can do much better than having De Niro play the devil.
He looks good. I'm looking at this picture.
Yeah. It's a great movie. And like
I never saw it. I should check this out.
Yeah,
I haven't seen this.
For me, it's like a classic 80s film, 100%. And this is before Mickey Rourke went and fucked his face up, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he's like gorgeous in the movie. And then you've got De Niro, and Lisa Bonet. And it's like, this cast is like phenomenal. It just, yeah. much like the Serpent in the Rainbow feels, you know, how you've got that just gross, kind of sweaty feeling the entire movie.
Yeah.
Like you feel like you're there. Angel Heart is much the same.
Sweaty 80s movie.
Yeah,
They
sweaty.
liked that in the 80s, I feel like. That late 80s.
It's like a
Yeah, you
lot
probably
of
did.
sweat.
Yeah. I just want to sweat.
Sweat.
I want to sweat all the time.
More movies need that now.
Yeah.
Just lots of sweat.
Yeah. Like sweat and like, you know, a little bit of dirt over the sweat.
A little bit of grime.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people look a little like you know,
Yeah.
greasy, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Like, so they actually feel like dirty.
Yeah.
It's a dirty movie.
It's a dirty movie.
All right, Mara.
All right, let me look at my list here. I got a few. Okay, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite portrayals of the devil in film, and that is in the fine cinematic experience, Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny.
Hell yes.
That movie, I could just like it once it's on. Like I feel like you could just put it on repeat, and I would just like it would just keep going, and I would just like crack up every time at every joke. And I mean, the whole thing's pretty much about, you know, this deal with the devil, and then you have your final act there with Dave Grohl as Satan, and they do their little battle. It's great. It's so fun.
Yeah, that's one of those fun portrayals
Yeah.
of Satan.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, I mean, it's fun, but it's like it's a conflict. He's not a good guy.
No.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, no, that's a fun movie for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one in years either. Whatever happened to Tenacious D?
Oh, I mean, they came out with a newer album, and
Okay.
I think last summer they toured. I didn't go, but I wanted to. And then they toured a few summers before that. They were going to do a sequel, but I don't know what happened to it. I think I want to say maybe they like somehow lost the rights to the movie. So
Which
that's why
is
they
terrible.
didn't do
Yeah.
that's why they didn't do the sequel. I'm trying to remember now. It's all cloudy, but yeah.
Too many drugs.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Sorry. I can't stop.
Yeah.
Can't stop, won't stop.
This
I
is-
can quit anytime I please.
I can quit anytime I want. I'm addicted to Satan.
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 Could it be Satan? All right, Liam.
I guess one of my favorite portrayals of Satan is another comedic one. In South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut.
Oh, Saddam.
I love that take on Satan. I love that his arc in that movie is basically he's a Disney princess, but he's like the Dark Lord of all. I just think like it's so weird how affecting the song he sings. Like it's this beautiful song, but you're looking at the context of it, and it's Satan in hell singing about, wanting to be up there to bring hell on earth. And you're like, oh, you feel for him. And he's just such a funny character, and I love the voice that he has. I think it's just a really, fun part of that movie. Like, the movie's good, but the parts with Satan are the parts that I will, go back to the most.
For sure.
Like,
For
when
sure.
Kenny goes to hell, I think the first time I saw that, I was in tears laughing.
Well, and that Saddam is his gay lover, dude.
It's like, come on, say it. He's just, wiggling his dick at one point.
Yeah. No, that is completely a classic.
I saw that way too young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old would you have been when that came out?
I was 99.
Yeah.
3.
Oh.
You saw that back then?
No, I probably 8 or 9.
That's not so bad.
Yeah, I was I'm an insomniac, so I just caught it on
Right.
Comedy Central had a 1 a.m. a block of uncensored movies, and so I saw that, and I saw
Especially for the little kids who couldn't fall asleep.
for the little kids who could fall asleep. I saw that, and Freddy Got Fingered.
There you
Oh.
go.
Freddy Got Fingered keeps coming up a lot lately.
Really?
Yeah. I think at some point, this movie is going to have some kind of like
Renaissance,
cultural renaissance of Freddy Got
I
Fingered.
wouldn't be surprised. It's too weird.
There are some people who are like trying to like. I know there are people doing like in-depth pieces about it, and there's like 20 minutes they cut from it. So they're like people like release the green cut, like the people who want the Snyder cut of Justice League.
I mean, Rip Torn is great in that movie.
Rip Torn's so funny in that movie.
I love that man.
He's great.
I loved him.
Did Rip Torn ever play the devil in something?
I don't think so.
Like he has.
He probably was the devil.
Yeah, well,
he looked like the devil.
He got so drunk once he
like
crashed into a bank thinking it was his house.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. I want to be. And he was like 87 when he did it.
And he was trying to crash into his own house.
He's just going for it. I don't think he was like trying to crash into his own house. I think that's just like how Rip Torn shows up in places. There's like one movie where like he gets into a fight on camera with someone and it's like a real fight. Like he's actually like beating the shit out of this guy. And it's like some movie from like the early 70s. And it's just like the camera, like they're trying to adjust focus as he's just like losing his shit on this guy.
So I'm going to go with one. I can't remember if I talked about this one the last time we talked about the devil in movies, but this is actually in my probably top 5 or 10 favorite indie horror films of all time, if not my top 10 horror films of all time. 2014 Starry Eyes.
Oh, yeah.
This movie is so fucking great. And like not a lot of people have seen it. Every time I bring it up, people are like, oh, I've never heard of that. Basically, it's about a Hollywood actress. You know, she lives, in an apartment with her, best friend, and her other friends live in the apartment next door, and they're all broke as a joke. And a couple of them are like, having their breakthrough moments. And Alex Esso plays the main character, Sarah Walker. And she's a waitress and can't, get out of her own way. She can't get the success that she wants. So she's invited to this meeting, and the meeting is basically with Satan, where she makes, a pact with the devil to become a successful actress. And things don't really pan out her way because her body starts morphing and like all her hair starts falling out and her body starts breaking out in sores and shit. But like the guy that plays the devil in this movie, he's just like some old dude. I can't remember like what his name is or anything that plays the character, but he's just so like, you just feel like inherently evil. Like this guy's just like a bad motherfucker, but basically, she makes her deal with the devil and it doesn't really work out the way she thinks it's going to. And the kills in this movie, I wrote about this in my review. Remember like when you watch Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer the first time and you were like, oh, those kills are just like brutal, like so real. That's how this is. Like she goes on a rampage, like killing every one of her friends. And it's just like, it's absolutely insane. So the movie's not completely about the devil, but it is.
Yeah.
And it's one of the better movies I've seen in the horror realm.
For sure.
You've seen this, right?
Yeah. I'm surprised that this movie hasn't gotten like more attention now, considering like in the era of Me Too, this is the kind of movie that like I feel like people would go apeshit for. Yeah. It's just like it's a kind of vicious critique on Hollywood. It's kind of like just a great horror movie, and not a lot of people have seen it. So, yeah, I love that representation of the devil in this movie. That guy, he's just like that, like old stoic kind of, like almost kind of, I hate to bring this up because he just died, but almost kind of like a Robert Evans kind of feel to the guy. Like he's just like there and he's like, I'm going to make a deal with you.
And, this is going to solve all your problems.
Yeah, the devil stays in the picture.
Yes.
Do you know that? Do you know that Robert Evans has a new movie coming out?
What? Really?
Yeah, it's called The Kid Stays in the Urn.
Oh, dude. That is terrible. You're a bad person.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, because he died
Yeah.
like 2 days ago, and he had a movie called The Kid Stays in the Picture.
Oh, okay.
So, oh, man.
He's somewhere in heaven or hell just yelling at him. He's like, I gotta make a picture.
I gotta make a picture.
Smoking a cigar, yelling at him.
All right, Mara.
Okay.
It's all you.
Let's go back to my little
list.
my list here. Okay. I'm going to talk about the segment of Fantasia, the Night on Bald Mountain.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that is some beautiful, beautiful artwork. It's surreal, it's ethereal, it's like terrifying, yet at the same time just completely like enticing. Like I just want to be one of those little demons in the hand of Satan.
That's the one where they don't call him Satan. They call him it's like Chernabog.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah. Chernog or Cherbo. Yeah, you're right. But it's Satan.
It was cool. It was cool as a kid.
So
Could it
cool.
be Satan?
Yeah, and there's there's like an effect that is used that's not like a hand drawn thing. It's like some sort. It looks like 3D. It's like some sort of. I don't know what they do, so I'm not gonna try to explain it. But it's how they like kind of make the ghosts look and the like skeletons that are riding on skeleton horses, and it's just I just love it. And there's a bunch of boobs in that one too.
Yeah.
Which I didn't remember, but I rewatched it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
coming like right at the screen too.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you're not terrified at, the demons, you can be clutching your pearls over the the nipples.
I like the boobs coming in my face.
Yeah.
The best. It's the best way to live.
It's the best way to live.
Yeah.
Boobs in my face.
That's hell though, so you have to know that you're sinning and you're very bad.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm a bad man.
Very, very bad.
All right.
It's a sin.
Yes. It's
That's
Satan. All right, Liam.
All right, this is devil adjacent, but it ties into a relatively recent movie, The Witch with Black Phillip. I am lukewarm positive on The Witch. I think it's a little overrated. But I love the character of Black Phillip because he's a goat. He has a cool voice.
He's cute, yeah.
He's good. He's a cute looking goat.
He's
I would
so
follow
cute.
this goat.
I would too.
He offers like butter and windows, and those sound like tempting things, especially when you're living with
Dude.
that family.
Dude, if you were like in that like that New England life, and you were like, and someone was like butter, like that was like that's all you need to hear.
Yeah, like I would join with that shit. You get butter, free windows, and you get to do like weird fucking dances
Yeah.
with other people.
That looked fun.
Yeah,
I
I was
watched-
on their side.
I watched that movie for the first time last night.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't
Oh,
like
wow.
it. I did not like it that much, but it wasn't.
It's not like it's a well-made movie. I was just frustrated because every other character in that movie is really unlikable.
Yes.
Like I hate the dad so much.
I did too.
I hated him, and I couldn't understand what he was saying. There's like a whole scene where I think it's like he's like covered in like mud, and he's like acting, and there's like dirt coming out of his mouth, and I'm like, it's a very well committed performance, but I can't understand what the fuck you're saying.
Yeah.
That's like if I did a podcast and I came on here, I put marbles in my mouth, and I started speaking in Old English.
And then you start singing Creed songs.
Yeah, with arms wide open.
That's like
It's
it's avant-garde.
an experimental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been there on a Sunday morning.
But now every time I hear Creed, I hear that like Creed Shreds video
Yeah.
where he's like, Duca, I'm gonna play some Duca. Every time, that poor man.
Every time.
That poor man.
Yeah.
He has to be Scott Stapp, you know.
Dude, he gets so ravaged on like social media. I feel kind of bad for him, you know.
Don't feel bad for him.
Yeah, but then
Well, I just like
he's rich.
not anymore. He's not. No, he blew it all on hookers and drugs.
Well,
and booze.
he had his fun with the hookers and drugs
Yeah.
and booze
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, but I mean, people like just ravage that guy. And it's just like, just leave him be. He's got marbles in his mouth.
He chose to sing.
Yeah,
those songs.
exactly.
leave Scott Stapp alone.
Yeah. And he was supposed to be like some great like Christian
Yeah.
rock guy.
Those are always the funniest.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I think he should have done the score for The Witch.
Yeah, probably. And drop D.
That would have brought it home. Fred
Yeah.
Durst should have directed The Witch.
Oh.
Wow.
Here's funny though. I'm going to get off focus here for a second, but I actually have seen a few other people online that like The Fanatic. I'm not the only one.
I got that on my queue. I want to watch it.
It's
I
bad, but
watched
watch it. Yeah.
It
I like
was-
bad movies though.
It
Yeah.
was entertaining. It's like
It
it's
really
not
was.
a good movie, but John
No.
Travolta plays like okay, here's how I describe John Travolta in that movie. He went to like a mental institution. He saw a bunch of people who were mentally ill, and then he decided
it
to
all up.
play every mental illness
Yeah.
all at once.
So insensitive. Like
He like it's really is like that. Like there's a whole scene where he's wearing like the English like royal like Mountie like, thing.
Yeah.
And it's a minute of him just going poppycock.
Yeah.
Poppycock. And I don't know if we're supposed to laugh or if we're like it's
No.
deeply uncomfortable.
I think he knew what he was doing. I think he was trolling us. I think he
think
was
so.
like, you know what? I made a lot of shitty movies, but I'm still John Travolta.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do whatever I want now.
He just
like, dude's in his like 60s. Like, just like, you know what? At some point, just make art, and who gives a
Yeah.
shit about what the masses think?
yeah.
Last thing I'll say about The Fanatic. I was completely invested in that movie, but when the dad and the kid got in the car and the dad's like, yo, you want to listen to some Limp Bizkit? And I'm
That
like,
was
no.
that was the worst moment in the whole movie. I was like, really?
I'm like, come on,
what
dude.
what universe is there some
So mad you spoiled that. I would have
Yeah.
loved to
I'm
experience
sorry.
it.
there's some father who's like, yeah, I'm all about the nookie, son.
Yeah. Yeah. Break stuff.
It's all about the he said, she said bullshit. I think that would have, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he should make more movies. But John Travolta should play Moose, but as like every character.
Yeah.
Like Vincent Vega.
Like
But
in the end of the-
Moose. He's like running around with the milkshake or whatever. Like
In
that
the-
scene with the horse.
I did feel bad for him though.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was a really like it's a sympathetic character. Because the main guy, Devin Sawa's character, is such an overwhelming asshole to
Oh,
this
dude.
guy.
Yes.
And like immediately threatens to kill him.
Yes.
After like he's like, "Can you sign this thing for me?" He's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you. Get away from me!" Like such an over the top reaction.
Yeah, yeah.
For something like relatively like he's supposed to be like
Dude,
a
just
movie
like,
star.
Yeah, like, you know, just be nice. All right. We're in the weeds.
Yeah.
So, the next one that I'm going to talk about is from, let's see, when was this from? 2017. I actually reviewed this one. They gave it to me really early. It's called American Satan, and it stars, what's his name? He was the lead singer in Black Veil Brides, which I really don't care for that, like, kind
Yeah.
of like new metal where like they're like fake goth and like blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah, like it's like overproduced shit with like
Yeah.
the constant like clickety clackety double bass bullshit, you know. But the dude can sing, and so he basically transitioned from being in this huge band to starring in this movie. Well, the movie is about a metal band basically, and the singer, played by this guy from Black Veil Brides, signs a deal with the devil. Same thing as, you know, Starry Eyes.
Yeah.
And it's basically about them blowing up and becoming like the biggest band in the world and how everything falls apart and blah, 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 blah. And they get into drugs and shit. But the greatest thing about the movie is who plays the devil. Malcolm McDowell.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, sweet.
You know, in like this guy's played the devil so many times
Yeah.
that he just kind of it just
It
works.
fits.
It
Yeah.
just works, you know. So I'm like, oh, the new Mr. Rourke is the devil, you know. Like he can just kind of move in and out of these characters interchangeably, and it's not a great movie by any means, but I really enjoy movies about music no matter what. Even if it's shitty music, I still kind of like I just like to watch the whole rock and roll thing play out. But this one was pretty cool. So if you get a chance, I think it might be on Amazon Prime or something. I remember like I mentioned this to Scott and he was like, oh God, Black Veil Brides. Ugh. But yeah,
I've never heard of them.
they had like a huge following, like massive, like cult like following.
Yeah.
Like they were never like huge, like, you know, radio band or anything like that, but they were kind of one of those like bands, kind of like 30 Seconds to Mars was like in the beginning, how like they just had like this huge following and then they blew up. This band kind of just like was on the outskirts of being like a radio band, but they still had hundreds of thousands of followers. And they've got a big social media presence too, but I think they're done now. But yeah, anyways, American Satan. It's right there in the title, Satan.
What about Danish Satan?
I don't know. Danish Satan might not be that fun.
That sounds tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a nice like a donut.
Satan
Yeah.
But
Danish.
there's like there's like a chili pepper in it or something.
It just sounds like, oh, like I gotta run to Meijer and get us some Danish Satan.
Gosh, did you forget the Danish Satan?
Oh,
We get the ice cream social tomorrow.
we need that Danish Satan right
Come
now.
on. The kids love it.
The kids love the Danish
I
Satan.
love the Danish Satan.
You fuckface. I love the Danish Satan.
I love the Danish Satan. Turned into Rip Torn.
Admiral Akbar.
Admiral Akbar. It's a
Satan.
It's a trap. What the fuck did you do, Gordo?
You brought the Danish Satan on board my spaceship.
We brought it on board my ship.
We're fucking terrible people.
Yeah.
Seriously. All right, Mara. How do you follow up the Danish Satan?
I don't know. Okay, I got a couple choices on here that are like, they're not really Satanish. But
That's all right.
That's okay.
I'm still gonna go with it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies ever, Evil Speak, starring Clint Howard. And it's kind of almost like a male Carrie because he's at this boarding school and he gets bullied. And now what's different about Carrie in this movie is that he uses like the newfangled computer somehow. This is like, I think this movie is like 1981. So somehow he gets this computer and it's like he can like contact, and it's not Satan, it's this guy Esteban who's like an evil priest, and he uses this to exact his revenge on his bullies.
Yeah, it definitely sounds very Carrie.
Yeah.
I like that though.
But I like Clint Howard.
Yeah.
I like Clint Howard.
And I just like I love the whole idea that he like uses like he like chats with like Satan. He's like, hey.
He's like sliding into Satan's DMs.
Yeah.
You up?
Yeah, he is. It's like so funny. It's like they don't really explain it at all. It's just like he's just really good with computers, and he just like there's like this like of course I think the school he goes to is like cursed by these past events. It was of this like evil dude, and yeah, it's good. It's good.
It sounds like War Games meets Carrie.
It is a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's right in there, 1982.
Yeah.
So it's totally in that, like, need my dial-up modem.
Yeah. It really is. And it's like, I feel like it like speaks to like maybe people's like fear of like what was going to happen with like the internet and like what computers could like really do, It's like it speaks to that, but it's also like without saying too much, it's like it's a pretty triumphant movie, so it's almost like maybe it's heralding in the electronic
Yeah.
age.
Yeah.
It's a really cool movie. I recommend that to everyone, even like not horror, not Satan related. I just love that movie.
I love Clint Howard.
It's pretty sleazy, I must say.
Yeah.
There's
I like
a little bit of
sleazy,
a
too.
little bit
I
of a
like
warning to it.
sleaze.
I like sleazy Clint Howard.
Yeah.
Sleazy.
I mean, I guess if I tell you Clint Howard's the star,
Yeah.
you kind of know it's
Yeah.
what realm you're gonna go into.
He's great though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's really good in it. He's really he's obviously really believable
Hell yeah.
as pathetic dude getting really really bullied.
That's Clint.
Yeah. So
Yeah. He just gets slipped into every one of his brother's movies. Every
Mm-hmm.
one.
He's like, remember, I was Opie, and
Yeah.
you're nothing.
Yes. I'm keeping
They didn't
down.
even really have to do like makeup for him in like the Grinch movie.
No.
He looked basically the same,
Yeah.
which is really unfortunate, but it's like
For him.
for him, yeah.
All right, Liam, give us another one.
The most recent devil movie I've watched was Exorcist 3, and I had never seen this movie before, and it's fucking insane, and I love it.
That movie is kind of crazy.
I love it's Brad Dourif, right?
Yeah.
Jeez, that's a performance.
man, I've never seen any of the other Exorcist sequels. I've only ever seen the.
Don't bother
First.
with two.
Two,
The Heretic, you don't.
No.
You don't need
I mean,
to see it.
who's in 3? Brett.
it's Brad Dourif.
Brad
It's
Dourif.
George C. Scott.
George C. Scott, and it's directed by the guy who wrote the Exorcist book.
Yes.
Interesting.
And it does serve as a sequel to the original movie somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically Brad Dourif locked up in the mental institution, and he is possessed by the same demon
Yeah.
as she was in the first one, correct?
It's
Is
it
it
calls
Pazuzu?
itself Legion though.
Oh,
it's
that's
like a
right.
couple different I think it's a couple different
Okay.
demons. And then there's like the Gemini killer and stuff in there.
Yeah.
That's fun. It's
Which was based on the Zodiac.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which I really like that aspect of it. I like it kind of made it into a really interesting film. I'm curious to see the director's cut. I saw the version that was the theatrical version.
Right.
So I'd love to see the director's cut.
This is one of those movies where when it came out, it did very little at the box office,
That doesn't surprise me.
and people were not really that into it. But we saw this one opening night because we always went like friends opening night. We saw this at the Lakeside movie theater. Do you remember that theater? Did you ever go there for a movie?
Where's the Lakeside at?
Lakeside Mall.
On Hall Road in Shana.
Yeah, they had a theater in there. It was like, I think they had maybe 4 or 6 theaters, and it was that old school, long,
Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds of vinyl seats.
Was
you
it
know.
inside the mall? I don't know
Yeah,
if I
yeah,
I think
it was-
I've been there. I can't
yeah.
remember though.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of by where they put the hydro tubes. Remember the hydro tubes?
No.
Yeah, they had a water park inside Lakeside.
I remember
When I was a kid,
the
yeah.
arcade. That,
Yep. So the arcade was put in where the hydro tubes were.
Okay.
So that like 2 or 3 levels of that arcade,
Mm-hmm.
at one point that had hydro tubes all the way through there
I'm
in the mall.
surprised I never went on those.
It was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, the mall has a water park? Weird, dude. And they
Yeah.
had like, I think 4 tubes, and you'd go and like they had a locker room and you take your bath or your shower and get
Yeah.
ready and blah, 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 blah. And you had to wear like a little wristband, and they would like punch the wristband because you'd get so many times
Yeah.
down it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Those kind of locker rooms are always super awkward.
Oh, dude,
Because there's
yeah.
always like an old guy who's like flexing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He always has to like show off his dick.
Yeah.
Like he's like I'm 72 years old and this is my pecker.
And then in
It's
the women's
like
restroom, there's a 7-year-old woman who feels this way about her boobs.
They
Yeah.
do that?
Oh yeah, totally.
I've never been. I don't know that experience.
Yeah, it's
We
just
can
always.
change that.
There's
could
like
change
I
that.
just feel like it's like you get old and you're just like, here it is, man.
Yeah. We don't care.
It's sagging down as low as you're ever gonna see it. Like no matter like if it's balls or boobs.
It's
That's
better
true.
than dangling labia.
Well,
It's true.
It is true, though.
Yeah, all these balls kind of look like old basset hounds.
Boom. Old.
Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Though.
I'm sure I
Droopy.
I hope you don't.
I hope you don't.
I really hope you don't. I hope that's not a shared experience.
All right. Back to The Exorcist 3. We saw us opening night in that like old school theater, you know, and just like there's like nobody there, you know, and that's just always the creepier way to see this stuff. There's like 6 of us in the theater, you know, and we loved it. We thought it was scary as shit. But at the time, like we were teenagers, so we didn't quite get all the connections to the original movie, even though we had seen it. Now you kind of pick up on more of that stuff.
Well, it came out like almost a full like 20 years after the first movie.
Oh, yeah. It was longer than that. I will let you know right now.
So, I mean, like, it's popular. It's like a popular, beloved movie, but like, you know, that's like saying, does everybody today remember all, like, if they did a Goodfellas sequel, it wouldn't have the same impact. Like,
no. So Exorcist 3 came out in 1990. The Exorcist itself came out in 1973. So, yeah, 17 years.
17 years.
Yep. And in between was the other...
The Exorcist 2?
Dude.
With James Earl Jones when he does the... Is that the one with the tribe? Like, there's like an African, like, tribe in it. And they, like, do the... Yeah.
It's really trippy, and they try to give like a little bit more backstory to Pazuzu and all that, but
wasn't like the Zardos guy made that one?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, because I remember reading something, because I watched Exorcist 2, because I was at a like party at a friend's place, and he like, had you seen it? I was like, no, I haven't seen it, and we watched it, and it's like, it's a terrible movie, but I was wondering like, why? Who, like, what was the motivation for it? And there was some quote where the director was like, he didn't even like the first Exorcist. Why would you make a sequel?
Right.
Like, he didn't like the first movie. Yeah, money. Yeah, Warner Brothers probably dropped a truckload of money.
Yep.
But it's so, like, far removed from anything.
The Exorcist 2 is basically like an acid trip. Like, it's just a lot of, like, crazy visuals and shit. And like weird like bursts of white light behind, is it Linda Blair, right?
Yeah, it's Linda Blair.
Yeah. It's just a weird movie. Like the narrative structure is like really just kind of like, what's going on? It just makes
no fucking sense.
Yeah, it's really weird. But The Exorcist 3 was good.
Exorcist 3 is awesome.
And then there were The Exorcist 4, which...
Where, is that the one?
This is the one.
Okay, where it's Paul Schrader did one version of it.
And they hated it.
And they hated it. And then the other one was...
The Exorcist 4, the beginning.
I can't remember. It was Rennie Harlan.
Yes.
And I watched both of those, and neither cut of those movies is good.
Yeah.
Neither of them were good, which is weird because I like Paul Schrader a lot.
Yeah.
He makes really good stuff. And with this one, I was just bored. All I remember is Stellan Skarsgård.
Yes. So they tried to do this Exorcist 4. It didn't work. The studio said, okay, we're shutting this down. We're going to redo the whole thing. We're going to refilm the entire movie. We're going to recast. We're going to do all these things. And we're going to remake this thing before it gets to the theaters. So there are 2 completely separate movies called The Exorcist 4.
That's so weird.
Yes.
That's so weird.
And neither of them are that good.
Yeah.
Neither of them.
I was really bummed because with Rennie Harlan, I was like, yeah, like he doesn't have that much of a directorial voice. But like Paul Schrader, I was like, Paul Schrader horror movie. I was like, I fucking loved Taxi Driver. I loved, he wrote Raging Bull too, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And like all the stuff he's written, I really liked.
Yeah, because him and Marty are like super tight.
I was like, a horror movie from Paul Schrader? I was like, well, shit, Taxi Driver scared me, so this will be fun. And then I fell asleep.
All right. So the next one I'm going to actually mention is because Dawn posted a review of this yesterday. The Omen.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, childhood Satan, you know, ready to take over the world, basically. But this is just like, the original is just so good. And the dialogue in this movie is great. And it just has that like feeling like from that era, 70s, 80s, just that like tension, just like it's blanketed by it.
There's like every frame is like kind of like pulsating a lot of dread.
Yeah.
Like even like in moments that aren't scary, there's still this like unease and discomfort.
Yeah.
And I mean, they named their kid Damien. Like, what the fuck? You don't ever name your kid Damien.
Yeah, he's either the Antichrist or a child molester.
Or a murderer.
And it doesn't work.
It just, But,
or all three.
The original Omen was really good. And then, what was the one when Sam Neill played Damien? Was that
That's
Omen
the one, is that
3?
the one where he goes to the White House?
Yes.
I remember he goes to the White House, and that's it.
And basically... Yeah, Omen 3, the final conflict.
The final conflict.
Yeah.
I love when horror movies drop the final.
Final.
Because it's never the final. It's bullshit every time. There were 2 final Friday the 13th, and neither of them were the end.
Right. But no, the Omen series in general is pretty good. I actually enjoy all of these. I even enjoyed the remake they did.
That's the one with Meryl Streep?
Mm-hmm.
Or I think she was like the...
Was she in it? I
forget
Julia
who
Stiles
it
was in it.
Forget who it was, but I also liked the remake.
Yeah, the remake was 2006, and it's got Julia Stiles, Mia Farrow's in it.
That's right.
And Liev Schreiber is in it as well.
Yeah.
David Thewlis, Pete Postlethwaite.
It's a pretty good cast.
Yeah, it's a really good cast. It very much followed the same format as the original. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't have that same...
Well, because it's a modern kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I remember too about
I remember it came out on 6/6/2006.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, that was a big part of the marketing.
Oh, it was.
That was the big push.
Smart.
And it actually did pretty well at the movies, this remake. Released in 2006, it only cost $25 million to make, and at the domestic box office, it made $119.5 million.
Wow.
Which is kind of crazy, because usually remakes don't do that well, especially horror remakes.
Yeah, that's really surprising.
Yeah,
I like that Mia Farrow's in it. It's a nice little... She went from being like the mother of the Antichrist, now she's the nanny.
Yeah.
The Antichrist. It's a nice little...
Well, it's funny because last week I watched Rosemary's Baby. I think was that my suggested viewing last week, maybe? I can't remember. But, I watched Rosemary's Baby. You want to talk about a movie that just it just grinds you down. Mm-hmm. That is another one of those movies that's just, the tension is there the entire time. Mm-hmm. And you kind of know what's coming in that movie. But Mia Farrow is so phenomenal in that film. That scream of hers, though. Oh, my God.
She's really good in that movie.
I was about ready to punch the fucking projector down here. When she started, like that scream, it's ear-piercing.
Yeah.
It's hard to listen to. It's like grating. But again, maybe that was just the character.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it'd be kind of like, I don't imagine most people would be like really calm and collected.
Yeah, probably not.
Like when you have the Antichrist.
Yeah. And you wake up and you're surrounded by everybody that lives in your building.
I would love to see like one of those Devil Children movies where they like, the solution is they do an abortion.
Oh.
None of these movies have ever done that as like a thing. Like, what would happen?
The movie would end. It would
the
just
movie
be
would end.
And then they lived happily ever after.
Or it comes back.
No. See, I think if they tried to abort Devil Baby, I don't think that baby is dying. I think that baby is going to survive and be pissed off.
It's just, See, a way to escalate a movie.
And flames are going to shoot out of the...
Whoosh!
Yeah.
They're like, ma'am, what's going on here? Poor OBGYN.
Oh. My face! Oh. But yeah, the Omen... I mean, really all of them, especially the original series, like they're all pretty good. Yeah. They're all pretty good. So...
Is Gregory Peck the dad in that one?
In the original.
Yes.
Because
I remember there's the curse on the Omen and there's the curse on the Exorcist.
Yes.
Where like a lot of people related to it like died in weird, mysterious ways.
Oh, Lee Remick, yeah.
Like there was like a plane crash, right? Someone died like really horribly during the making of like the Omen.
Yeah. I don't know about the Omen. I heard a bunch of stories about The Exorcist.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
Yeah, so there is a curse on the Omen.
And the Omen, I didn't know about that. That's creepy.
And there was a curse on Poltergeist, supposedly,
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Well, they say there was a curse on The Crow. I guess someone
Yeah.
else got injured on set before
Yeah.
Oh, man, this would be a good podcast.
cursed movies.
Cursed movies.
I mean, this is kind of cursed movies.
Yeah,
A little
yeah.
bit. A little bit.
All right, Mara, give me one. Throw it at me.
Okay, another one that's not devil per se, but it has to do with hell is The Gate.
Ooh.
And that's another one of my most highly recommended movies. I love that one so much. That's with little Steven Dorff,
Yeah.
and it's him and his little metalhead buddy, and they it's like the parents are gone for the weekend, and it's his older sister and is watching them, and they end up opening the gate to hell in the backyard, and the kid ends up using his heavy metal knowledge to help them keep it under control. But I just love that movie. It's such a good coming of age movie. The parents away for the weekend, and this kid and his older sister, you can tell they were really close when they were little, and they're kind of growing apart because she's becoming a teenager and he's still young.
Yeah.
But through it all, they kind of they kind of rekindle their friendship through the and they're close again through the end. I just love that movie.
I really like in horror movies when it's like a brother sister kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's always I just saw Strangers Pray at Night, and that happens in that movie, and it's a great little bit.
That is another movie that I don't understand the hatred it gets.
Yeah.
What, The Gate?
No, Strangers Pray at Night.
I was gonna say people hate that movie. I know.
No. That's got a pretty good cult following.
Yeah.
But yeah, Strangers Pray at Night was a really good sequel
Yeah.
because it kind of changed things a little bit,
I just love the lighting in that movie, and I love the total eclipse of the heart needle drop.
Yeah.
That is one of the best. When it happens in the movie, I went, "Oh fuck yeah!" It was so awesome. I loved that.
And I think the girl from the girl from Strangers Pray at Night, she was one of her first movies was Don't Be Afraid of the Dark.
Really?
Yeah, that's the same girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense because the whole movie I was like, who the hell is this girl?
Yeah.
Because I recognized
the face.
her face. It was her eyes kind of. I was like, who is that?
Yeah, she's very recognizable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very distinct.
All right, who's next? Let's do a couple more and then wrap it.
Ma'am?
I'm gonna do a take on the devil. It's from Futurama. I love the robot devil on Futurama so much. It's such a the concept of there being a robot heaven and hell is already funny, but then you have the robot devil who's voiced by Homer Simpson, and it's a great character. And whenever he pops up, it's always fun to have that because it's just another part of that sensibility where you're like, what show would have a robot devil? And it you're like, what? But it totally feels built into the world, and it's so much fun. And I just love every time that character pops up.
So, while you're talking about this, I'm actually kind of bringing up some more cursed movie stuff.
Yeah.
There was a curse on The Exorcist.
Really?
Yeah, Ellen Burstyn claimed that 9 people were killed during the making of The Exorcist.
Yeah. I've heard stories about that.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you don't fuck with the devil.
Don't I feel like the devil is really litigious. He has agents and shit.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, you got to make me look good in this movie.
Because if you don't.
Yeah.
If you don't.
Yeah, I mean, because the movies that are about the devil, where he's he's kind of cool.
Yeah.
There's no curse on that. There's no curse on the witch.
Yeah, hey, he likes goats. He's like,
Yeah.
Black Phillip's my boy.
Yeah.
Horns, beard. Yeah,
I dig.
we're best friends. You know?
Yeah. There's no curse on Ghost Rider. I mean, except
Because
maybe
nobody likes Ghost Rider.
Maybe
even
Nick
the
Cage,
devil is
maybe
like,
Nick
fuck that
Cage's
He
movie.
didn't
career.
even see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, my son approved it.
Poor Nick Cage.
Yeah. That's okay. Like, Nick Cage, the problem is he'll do, like, a dozen shitty movies. And then he'll do, like, one really fucking great movie, and you're like,
Oh, wow. You're
and then,
back.
And then
he's
you
like,
get suckered into it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, his whole thing is back taxes, you know.
Yeah.
He got, you know, he wasn't paying his taxes, and he got...
Because he bought insane shit.
Yeah, so now he's making up for that. Because all these little movies that he does, he gets most of the money from them, so he's paying off debt.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
He owns, like, dinosaur bones and,
Yeah.
like, dozens of castles around the world.
Yeah, yeah.
He's exactly what you'd think he would be like.
So, my last one is going to be Hereditary.
I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't ever really see the devil in this movie, but it's alluded to a lot with Paimon, you know, who is one of the kings of hell,
Yeah.
basically. But yeah, the devil is like all over this movie. And as we discussed last night, Ari Aster's like totally into like this cult thing and burning people alive.
Yeah.
Like, you
What's
don't
interesting-
get much more devil
What's
than
interesting about Hereditary is that, like, even, like, it's a result of, like, a devil's bargain made years before they even had, like, a choice.
that. Right.
Like, you watch that the second time, you're like, oh, these characters are fucked from, like, the first frame.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they even have that scene where they're in the classroom and he says something like, are the characters destined to do blah, blah, blah? And he's talking about some, like, Shakespeare thing. But it's Ari Aster poking at us. Saying,
Right.
That's what's happening in this. Yeah, it's scary. It's fucking scary, dude. It's traumatic. That's a traumatic movie because it's like, it's a horror movie, but it's also like a drama about grief.
Oh,
Like,
totally.
you could cut out the horror stuff from it and it would still work. It's like two movies, and it's interesting.
I'm just wondering what he's going to do next. Because even though I love his movies, thematically, they really kind of fit as two puzzle pieces right now.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if he's going to get out of this cult thing.
It's probably going to be something really chipper.
Yeah.
It's going to be something really feel good.
He's going to make like the next Alvin and the Chipmunks or something. He's going to reboot it.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for that.
The Squeakquel? I heard that's your favorite movie.
It is. Alvin and the Chipmunks, I'm just, yeah.
You're Dave.
Yep.
Alvin!
Yeah.
You know, John Waters loves Alvin and the Chipmunks. He was in one of the movies.
Oh, yeah. I think he was in the first one.
Yeah.
And he like, one of the animators, like, drew him a cell of Alvin jerking off.
Oh, my God.
Because Alvin's, like, his like, celebrity crush.
Awesome.
All right. Do we want to do a couple more, or are you guys feeling like we're done for the night?
Let's see.
I don't have any more, but I would love to see, because there's, like, a couple on that list that look
All right, Mara,
amazing.
give us another one.
Okay, here's my, like, last ditch effort here is the original Bedazzled.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, what's his name? Peter Cook
Yes.
plays the devil in that. And I, like, happened upon that movie
Yeah.
one day when I was, like, in middle school or, like, early high school, and I was like, what's all this about? What is this tall British man going on about? He's the devil? What? Dudley Moore's? What? And I just loved it. I never like knew it existed, and I didn't even know what it was called for a while, and that was like one of my like just favorite movies because I knew so little about it, and I was like the only person who I knew about it.
Yeah.
Like
And then they
British
remade
devil
that,
guy.
though,
yeah,
didn't they?
They did
Yeah.
with Brendan Fraser as the
Yeah.
Dudley Moore character, and Elizabeth Hurley played the devil.
Not a bad choice.
No,
Not a bad
no,
devil.
I never watched that one though.
I didn't watch it either.
I saw it.
Yeah.
So it was okay. It was Egon directed it. Harold Ramis.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
It's fine. It's it's a nice pleasant day. It's not like the original. The original's way better, but if it's on TV,
Why not?
why
It's
not?
free.
Right?
Yeah.
Does he make the deal with the devil for the same reason? He like wants to date the girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that had to be 15 or 16 years ago.
That
Yeah.
one was from 2000.
That was
Oh, yeah.
always on like rotation. Like there's always a bunch of movies, like early 2000s comedies.
Yeah.
That I like just think about like Orange County. Thought about that movie the other day.
Yeah.
Don't know why. It's just how my brain works.
Yeah.
It just pops in.
You weirdo.
I know. I can't help it.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
We'll be back next week, I think, with something. If we're not, we'll be back the week after that, or
Yeah.
maybe the week after that, or next year sometime.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
We'll be back.
Don't worry.
I'll be back.
I'll be
Don't
back.
miss us too much.
Don't
Yeah.
miss too much.
All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Have a happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Don't eat too much candy. It'll rot your teeth.
Give
Eat
me
all
the
of it.
candy.
Get sick.
Airmail me your candy.
Visit us at www.themoviesleuth.com and find The Movie Sleuth on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and iTunes.